Hello friends, in this session we are going to see about inheritance in Java. Inheritance is an important part of any object-oriented programming language. Say for example, if you have a common purpose class created and you want to reuse the methods and variables defined in that class into multiple subclasses, then we use inheritance or extension. So this allows code reusability and minimizes the amount of duplicate code, correct? Since we are inheriting the parent class features into the child classes, it is called the parent child relationship. Okay, so it is just a namesake. So this is very similar to inheriting properties from our parents, correct? So that is what we do as children, right? We inherit the properties from our parents. Okay, and inheritance also reduces coding complexities and makes it really flexible to change later on. Since we are having a common purpose parent class, even a change of logic will only be at one place instead of multiple places like multiple subclasses. When you inherit from an existing class, you can reuse the methods and variables of the parent class, and you can also additionally include new methods and variables in it. Okay, inheritance can be an effective method to share code between multiple classes that have same traits in common, yet allowing the classes to have some parts that are different. Okay, and for using inheritance in Java, we use the keyword extends. So whenever you want to inherit in Java, use the keyword extends. Okay, so let's look at different types of inheritance in Java, and we will also see what type of inheritance is allowed in Java and what is not allowed. Okay, so the first one is called single level inheritance, that is class B extends class A. So it is like a single story building, correct? It looks like a single story building. Then multi-level inheritance. So again, if you look at this, is like a multi-story building. Class B extends class A, and then class C extends class B. So multiple levels of inheritance. Then we have hierarchical inheritance. So now we have one parent class extended by many hierarchical children. So that is why hierarchical inheritance. Class B extends class A, then class C also extends class A. So these are the three types of inheritance allowed in Java. Okay, so these are the only three types that is allowed in Java. And if you look at real-time examples for inheritance, you can say Ford is a car, right? And Ferrari is a car. Likewise, student is a human being. Staff is a human being. So in all these inheritance, you can clearly see that it is a type of is a relationship or parent-child relationship, correct? So everywhere we are using is a relationship. And then similarly, you can also say rectangle is a shape, square is a shape, car is a vehicle. Okay, so you can model most of the real world objects to apply this inheritance concept. Okay, and we can use it for code reusability in our projects. Okay, and next if you look at this, is called multiple inheritance, which is not directly allowed in Java. Multiple because a single class is trying to inherit from multiple parent classes. That is why multiple inheritance. Okay, and we have a next type of inheritance called diamond inheritance, which in turn has multiple inheritance in the lower part. You can see below, right? So that part is anyway multiple inheritance. Since that is multiple inheritance, which is not allowed in Java, diamond inheritance is also not possible in Java. So how do we achieve these in Java? So that is when the interface concept is useful in Java. So one extension from a normal parent class and another implements from interface. Okay, so let's now see this in sample codes, okay, to better understand it. Okay, so now we have a simple class A, and then other classes class B and class C. So let's now inherit one by one. Okay, so class B extends class A. So this is single level inheritance, and this is allowed in Java. So let's now create a function in class A. Okay, so let's create a function. Okay, so we should have it as public void print. Okay, let's have public void print, and then we'll have a print statement, system.out.println, and then inside the print statement let's have test A. So now let's try to use it now. Okay, so let's use it with public static void main, our main function. Okay, public static void main and then string args, correct? So let's use it in our main function. Now let's create an object for our class A. Okay, so it should be class A object, then is equal to new class A, correct? And then to call the function, it should be that object obj dot print to call that function. So if you run it now, it gives you true. So just to be very clear, let's have our function name given. Okay, let's have a custom function name instead of just print. Let's have our function name as print underscore A instead of that default print function. Okay, just to avoid confusion. So it is print underscore A. So now if you run again the same, true. So okay, it's not considered as a main function, so now it will see test A. So just missing some braces, it was not considered the main function, that's all. Okay, so that is why it printed the default statement. So test A was printed successfully from class A. So now let's have the same way for our class B. Okay, so it is it should be class B, so we need to create an object obj B is equal to new class B. So if you look at, there is nothing in class B except that main function, but still you can call that print function. So let's see. Okay, obj B dot print underscore A. So when you run it now, both the test A's are printed, one from that object A, and let's comment it out. Even then the below print function call works. So even without duplicating the printing code, we can reuse the code from our parent class. So this is single level inheritance. Okay, now let's see multi-level inheritance. Okay, so it is the same thing, okay, but with a very small difference. So class C extends class B. So class B from class A, then again class C from class B. So that's all. We can still use the same print function from class C. So the same print function from class A can be used both from class B and class C. So now when you run this, the same test A printed twice. So this is multi-level inheritance. Then we will now look into the next type of inheritance supported in Java. Okay. So the next type is, this is hierarchical inheritance. So class A is extended by both class B and class C. Extends class A. So if you now try to run it, it is the same result. So then let's look at multiple inheritance and let's try it. So extends both class A and class B. So then now it shows an syntax error. So even if you change it, so again syntax error on extends, implements expected. So can only extend once, okay, in Java, but later on you can implement. So that is what is this particular scenario. So this is the case. So now instead of extending both, so changing one to implements. So multiple inheritance is directly not possible in Java, but only can achieve with implementing interface as an additional option to extending a class. And the same applies for diamond inheritance. So thank you friends, see you soon, bye.